Hey guys, welcome to Just the Plant Room. So today we're going to check out some of my propagations, pot up some propagations, and take some propagations. And I have 2 plants that I need to repot. We'll see if we get to that. If you like this type of content, stick around. All right, guys, as I mentioned in the intro, summer, spring's the time to propagate. Recently, I propagated my mini monstera, the one that lives in the plant room. I took the top cutting and I made several cuttings. As an experiment, I'll show you something really cool. So I took and I put some cuttings in my mix. It's been about 2 weeks now. And as you can see, look at the new growth. And what I noticed was the propagations that I put in my mix did better than the propagations that I put in a moss. So these guys are in moss, cocoa chips, and perlite. They are rooted, because I can tell by the tug, but they didn't grow as quickly as the ones that are in the medium. So with these guys, what I'm going to do today is the ones that I put in moss, I'm going to take out and transfer them to soil so that they can continue to prosper. So here we go. Oh, wait. Let's grab this bad boy so we can get some of that stuff in there. What are you guys up to? You propagate a lot during the season? I kind of propagate all year. Ooh. Let's see what we got as far as roots. Oh, we got some good roots. Oh, she didn't do too bad. This one rooted fairly well. I'm not going to worry about trying to get all the moss off, just the bulk of it. A little bit of moss won't hurt it. Okay, so that's one. And I noticed I needed to get them out the propagation box. I think the humidity was too high and the leaves are starting to yellow. So that was another reason. I think the moss was holding on to too much moisture. And I don't want them to rot. Okay, this one didn't do much, so back into spag it goes. See, there's barely any roots in there. Although, well, you know what? We'll put it in soil and back into the propagation box. Let's see how this one did. Same thing with this one. It's got a root there, but we're going to put that in soil too. Let me keep them separate. So, well, maybe we can pot them up together. I'll pot those 3 together. And we've got one more. And yes, I do reuse the medium. There's no rot, so it should be fine. This one didn't do too well either. Let's see, one good root, maybe 2 or 3. So I don't know if the camera will pick that up, but You can see that root system right there. So I'm going to transfer all of these to soil. At the end of the day, they're propagations, and I want them to do well, but it's okay if they don't. This is all about experiment. That's what my husband's shaking his head. No, he doesn't want anything to die. Such is life, though, right? He's still saying no, y'all. Anyway, so I think I'm going to use the same pots they were in, except instead of having 4, I'm going to put them into 2. Let's move this out of the way. All right. So, have my soil mix over here, and we are just going to pot these bad boys up. I think, again, I'm going to combine these 3 into 1 and give it a better chance. It'll be tighter. So only about halfway with the soil, since they're actually not wet sticks, but they're sticks. You want them to breathe a little bit. And we're gonna pop these 3 together like this. Okay, 1 down. And then those 2 are a little taller. So, try to get a little bit more of that moss off. I think we'll face these like this. Yeah, that looks good. What do you guys think? Yeah, that looks good. A little bit of dirt. All right. So I'll water these in a little later and put them back in the prop box. So you guys are in there. You are. A little bit more on that side. And I'll keep you posted on how they do. The ones that are currently rooted that I showed you first, I think I want to do a little giveaway with one of those. Let me know in the comments what you think. Would one of you like to receive one of those? Cool plant, fast grower. All right, so let's wipe some of this off. Trying not to make the plant room a disaster area today, at least not a big one. All right, so I have these Peperomia Hope cuttings. Now, I've never propagated a Peperomia Hope. This branch fell off, and you know, I didn't want to throw it away. So we're gonna see what it does. I'm not sure if I should lay it or if I should put it in like this. I think what I'm going to do is just lay it on top of the soil and pin it down, since I can see the node thingy right there. So we're gonna do that. I think what I'll do is I'll put, this one looks really, that's the top cut. I don't think we'll use that. I think I'll put these 2 in one little pot and these 3 together in another little pot. and we'll see what happens. So for those, because they're so tiny, we're going to use one of these or two of these. I think this is more than enough space for them to take root. And if they prosper, I can always move them to something a little larger. And I think I am going to go with the soil mix with these as well. I do have some strawberry clips that I'm going to use for that. So the whole idea with these guys is that I'm hoping that laying them flat on the dirt where those nubs are right there, I'm hoping that those will take and the roots will grow down into the dirt, and from there we'll have some growth upward. So we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to put one here. Let's see, and maybe a smaller one with it as such. And then I have these little strawberry clips to keep them in place so that there's more contact with the dirt. And this is what we have. So these I am going to spritz a little bit now because I cut them last night and they're a little dehydrated. Hopefully they'll turn into some cute little full plants and we see where we go from there. Oh, come on now. I must be hitting a piece of bark or something. There we go. Down you go. Too little one. Maybe. Maybe not. Perhaps. It's fighting back. And it's winning. Okay, there we go. All right, as I mentioned, I am going to spritz these guys just a little bit. I'll water them more thoroughly after the video. So there we go. A couple of little pottings of Peperomia Hope, and these will go into the propagation box as well. What did you propagate? Did you propagate anything for, the growing season? Compost. Another little quick wipe down, get the moisture off. I actually did propagate some of the poles because they were too tall. Like I did one of my syngoniums and the mini monstera. Now, what I have in this box is something that I just have not been able to grow really well. And I decided to start it over again. So this is the brandy, the Philodendron brandy. And it's been in this box for a while, and I can see that it's got some roots. So I'm going to go ahead and transfer these guys to some soil. Maybe, if we could get it off of here. I see there's some other things growing in here too. Not sure what that is. Okay, so let's do this because it's all fighting back. It's not a very pretty leaf, but there is some growth and there are some roots. It's weird the way it grew the roots. This plant has just not been very successful for me. I purchased it in a 3-inch pot, and about 5 months after having it, I put it on a pole, and it just did not prosper. It just stayed the same. As a matter of fact, it just looked completely miserable. So my goal with it, if we could ever get some of these pieces loose, is to restart it and just grow it in a pot, perhaps on a trellis rather than on a pole, because the pole action didn't work for me. These roots are not very big, and they're kind of like all over the place. And I think last but not least, okay, let's get rid of, yeah. Let's see what else is in here. Oh, you got a little root. I guess no harm in trying, right? Okay. Alrighty. So let's see what we got here. We've got, I think I like all of these for one pot because the root systems look nice and healthy. Kind of scrawny, but what do y'all think? All in one pot? Oh no, that one. See, these guys are rooted weird. So let's see, you. All right, let's do a little snipping here. I am going to snip this because if you could see, it has roots coming from here and roots coming from here. So I'm going to snip here. And I am going we're going to get rid of that. And this will be my cutting. This will be a cutting. And let's see what we got over here. Try to give it the best chance possible. I'm going to get rid of that. And same here. Don't need all this extra over here. And that's just leaf matter. Okay, you have a growth point. All right, so I'm gonna put those together and these together. Because that root system is so fine, I'm gonna use see-through for these guys so I can keep, so I spy on the roots. That's a big chunk. Let's get that off. Okay. All right, so yeah, I don't know, y'all. Don't know what's gonna happen with these, but we shall see. I'm gonna try to give them the best chance at survival here. So we're going to do something like that. Going to wind these guys. Try to get as much of that root system in there as possible. All right, let's backfill. Alrighty. So there's brandy 1. And let's see, brandy 2. This one's going to be interesting. I'm not sure what I'm doing here. I say cut that top. Okay. So, let's see what we got. We got that. And this. And this. Trying to make a little rosé here. And that. And let's see if I can get that. Yep. And that one. Alrighty, here we go. Gonna put them in this one. If I can get my fingers untangled. Okay, looks kind of good. All right, guys, so get back over here. All right, so we shall see how they do. They should take, I'm gonna put them in the prop box. They have a root system started, so they should be okay. Why are you buried? Come out of there. Okay. All right. So, 2 little brandies. Okay. You guys find that you have a lot of plant chores? I know I do. We don't show you half the things that go on in here. I should get better at doing that so you guys can see, you know, everything that we do or that I do. Okay. So in this box, what I have are wet sticks from my dragon tail. Now, if my husband will pan that way, you'll see this plant right here is my dragon tail, the one on the pole, babe. This guy right here. So this is my dragon tail, and I don't like the way it's growing. There are a lot of bare leaves from here to there. So I am literally thinking of propagating this plant again. I just haven't made up my mind whether I'm going to do that or not. But these are propagations from the first time that I cut her. And what we have here is this gorgeous little wet stick that has pushed out a leaf, and it's got a few roots, and I want to pot up and put in a prop box because I think it's time for her to come out of here, at least this piece anyway. So there's not a lot of roots, as you can see, just a few. But I think that if I put her in soil, lay her on top actually, that she'll have a chance to grow better. So that's one. And then there's one more, which has also rooted and has put out a leaf, which I'm going to put in a pot. I think that's a root. I don't know. This bad boy might need to stay in there for a little longer. Let's see. Yeah, these sticks haven't done anything. That hasn't done, though I see the roots. Okay, so change of plan. That's the only one that we're gonna pot up. In case you're wondering, why do I have pothos in there? It's supposed to be that Hawaiian pothos I bought, I don't know, maybe about 3-4 weeks ago. I actually cut her up and put her on a pole and took some cuttings, which I'm propagating as well. Put this one back in there and let it develop a little bit stronger root system. Since we're here, we'll go ahead and give this a spritz. And back into the cabinet, this one will go. But we are going to pot up this one. And because the root system is not that developed, I like this pot because it's not tall, it's a little bit shallow. So we're gonna go with that. So the idea here with this is to just lay this on top of the dirt, kind of like so. And then just backfill it enough where the stem is sitting on the dirt, but the roots have access to the medium. So I'm going to hold it just a little bit and backfill, making sure that I get those roots down there. About to show you now. Don't want to compress it. I want them to be able to move. So that's what she looks like. And I'll water her in and also place it in that prop box and give you guys an update in a few weeks and see how she's doing. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get some of this off of here. I have this plant. I'm gonna bring it up here so you guys can see. And I have been struggling with what to do with her. This Plowmanii has never really crawled. I'll show you. She's not attached. So she's been in this pot well, I got her, let her acclimate, Then I put her in this pot, and she's been in here forever, but she's not attached to the dirt. At this point, I feel the need to propagate her and to see if I can get her to really actually grow the way she's intended to grow. So she's been putting out some beautiful leaves towards the end. So what I'm going to do is propagate her several nodes. I'm going to create some wet sticks. Yeah, and we'll see how that goes. So you know that I have the hardest time actually cutting my plants down. But if it's for them to prosper, because right now she's not thriving. She's growing, but she's not thriving. So I want her to thrive because it's so pretty. The leaves are beautiful. The petioles are even more gorgeous. So you guys ready? Here goes. So I think I'm going to take the first cut here. Oh my goodness, I'm doing this. I am. Do I have a pot to put her in? All right, guys, I'm gonna stop being a chicken and just go ahead and do it. Maybe from down here. That gives me more chances. Yep. Ah, that hurt. Okay, so that's my first cut. I don't believe I did that, but I did. Okay. The next cut. I think I'm going to take that from right here. That way I can plant this way. Okay. Here's number 2. Okay, so I'm going to take this next cut right around in here. And this one does have a few little roots in the dirt, so we're going to get those, okay, out of there. Maybe. All right. Time to get jiggy with it. Let's go ahead and get her out of here and see what we actually have to work with. So when I bought this plant, I was just getting into phylos, and you can see that this mix has leca and just a whole lot of other stuff in there that I don't use today. I don't know if that's part of the reason why she's struggling, but I'm not going to blame it on the plant. I'm going to say it's me and my learning curve with these types of plants. But this one has a little bit of a root system. So we'll pot this up in a pot as a single node cutting. Now the rest of these, this would make a good wet stick. Yes, I'm taking her all the way back, guys. Guys, so you saw me cut this baby up. We had to take a little break because the camera got hot, but we're back. Huh? All right, let's start over again. What do you want me to say? Because it's not where it was.
The car got full. Camera didn't get hot. I know the car was full. Get it right.
What difference does it make?
Camera got hot, sound cheap.
My bad.
Let's go. Oh!
All right, guys. So you saw me chop up my plant. The memory card got full, so we had to start. It might be a little off here and there, but I've gone ahead and separated the plant into a couple of sections. I've potted this section up. This was the one that was at the tail end, had the biggest root system. So we'll see how she does. As you can see, I left the stem above the soil. I'm hoping that she'll root. And the interesting thing that I saw was I didn't know she had a plug. She had a plug on her, and I'm thinking that might have had something to do with how she was growing and not prospering. But neither here nor there. We're going to keep going forward. Here's another section that has some good roots on it and a little node that has roots. I think I'm going to put these two together and see what happens side by side. I haven't decided whether, don't want to go too big. I think this one might work. So we'll go ahead and get her in there. Maybe a little bit, no. Let's see what we got. I'm not sure what's going to happen with these cuttings. Hopefully they'll prosper. For these guys, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of I think I'm going to sit her up a little bit. Yeah. A little bit of rooting hormone. I don't always use this, but in this case, I think it might be a little beneficial to the plant. I've just put her through quite a bit of stress, so hoping this will help her establish herself in this pot. And I know what you're probably thinking. You should have let the cut scallop, scab over. Oh, I think, that's a good practice to have, but I'm not going to do that this time around. We're just going to go ahead and put her in here. I don't know how this is going to go. At least with this one. Give that a little bit of support there. See if I can pull this up just a little bit so that it's not so buried. Part of this hobby is having fun and experimenting. You don't know what's going to happen. So I am hoping that all of these cuttings will make it. But if they don't, thank goodness the Plowmanii is not that hard to come by. And we shall start again. Okay. Number 2. Wanted that to be up a little bit more. It's not that buried. Once it gets watered, it'll settle down. All right. For these guys, they have absolutely no root system. They will definitely be going inside of a prop box. I am not going to fill this all the way to the top. I am thinking putting one like this. And those strawberry clips are too narrow. Let's see. Oh no. That should help a little bit. And putting the next one over like this. I have no clue what I'm doing, y'all. It's just a hope and a glimmer. Alrighty, I think that's all I'm going to do to this plant. I'll bring it down so you could see what that looks like on the inside. I tried to leave the stems up and have the nodes where they're making contact with the dirt. And I am going to pray that she will be okay and she will survive. Once I see some new growth potentially and she starts to develop some roots, we'll put her into something different. Okay. Quick little wipe down. And we are almost at the end of my plant chores for today. All right. Let's see. So this is my varicosum. I bought this about, I want to say 2 months ago. It's doing okay, but you can see that tip, that's not going to flourish. And I do not believe that there's more than one plant in here. So my goal today with it is to take it out of this pot, put it on the moss pole, and put it back in this pot depending on the root system, which I don't think would be bigger than this pot. So let's go ahead and get that moss pole all set up. Nope, wrong box. So today I'm going to be using a lazy pole. Just not in the mood to craft one from chicken wire. So these are the ones you can get on Temu, Amazon, just about everywhere now. Let's see, that pot is approximately 4 holes high. 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 holes high. So I'll be adding my moss just above that 5th hole. And I don't want to pack it too tight. And I will be going all the way up to the top. Even though the plant doesn't reach up there. A little bit more. That feels good. Oh, maybe just a teeny weeny bit more. You guys use these lazy poles? They come in convenient when you're being lazy. You don't feel like making one from scratch. All right. So that's done. Let's get this off the table. Let's have a look at that root system. And potentially separate. Hey, yeah, so she can go back into this same pot. And she's super damp. So yes, I'm going to be disturbing these roots, and I'm going to check for a plug. And in order to get them on the moss pole together facing the right way, I need to try to get as much of this off as possible. Is it what? Oh. Plugs are what what growers use to start plants out, especially if they're starting from seeds. Typically they're made like out of a styrofoam, or sometimes they're even like cages where they're plastic. And basically they help contain the root system nice and tight for the plant to grow. But when we buy these plants, if they still have plugs, I find that it's like the roots choke. They can't expand, they can't breathe or move. So we are definitely going to cause some drama here, because I want to separate this main stem. I want them both to face the same way. So I hate doing this because I feel like it does have a plug. All right, so let's see if we can get in here. So there's this thing here, and if I pull, you're gonna see, I don't know if you're gonna see it or not, but there's like this styrofoam thing in here. Here, there's a piece of it. It's like styrofoam, and basically it has a hole. When you buy this, it has a hole. You drop the seeds inside of the hole, and then you water it, and this expands. And it keeps the moisture, allowing the plant to grow as a seedling. But as they get older, I find that this tends to constrict that growth. And if I can get it off, I will. And in this case, we're going to do that. So, come on now, baby. Don't make it hard. Ugh. Come on. I need you to separate. As you can see, I'm not very gentle. Ah, there it goes. See, that root system is not very big. It's not bad, but it's not big. So that's one plant. This one we'll put into a little thing by itself. And this one will pot up with that main stalk. All right, so I have got to get this dirt off my table, which I am not going to reuse. I will keep a little bit, but the bulk of it we are going to trash. You might be asking yourself, why is she keeping a little bit of that dirt? Well, I feel like the roots, this is what they know. So while I am going to put her in my medium, I still want her to feel like she's got some of her own and she doesn't go completely into shock. Okay, so what I typically do, let me pull these plantlets back out of here so I can make sure I've got a good sense of how high I want to go, is I see how big this pot is going to be and make sure that my moss, I don't know if you can see that, but I make sure my moss is just above the soil line. I don't want the moss in the soil. So we're right about there, but I'm going to go ahead and push this up just a little bit more. And we're going to go ahead and put some of that in here, some of my dirt or medium. It's easier with my hands. All right, when you think you've got it packed where you want it to be, as I do here, I am going to place my plants where I think I want them to go and to grow. I think we'll start with this one, which is the biggest of the two. Okay, so that looks like the back. And then we're going to put this one right next to it. You'll see what I'm doing in a minute. I will face it towards you. And just so that I can be kind of hands-free, we're going to cut some of this. I would use butterfly clips. That's my preference. But these stems are kind of thick, and I do not want to snap or force them. So we're going to use Velcro instead. I'm sure you guys probably got an easier way of doing this. If you do, tell me in the comments. For me, this seems to work fairly well, except sometimes I have a hard time getting the leaves. Don't want the leaves to be trapped in the Velcro, but I do want the stem to make contact with the moss. All right, that looks about right. You guys can get a little closer for me. There you go. All right. That's a lot of Velcro. That's what happens when you don't measure. Oh, I guess it won't be going nowhere. All right. Oh, darn it. I'm a little high. One sec, guys. I'll turn it around. You know what? Maybe I just won't try to put the Velcro on here right now. And do it after. I don't know that I can do that. I'm struggling. Okay, that's not gonna work for me. Bear with me. Oh, where are you? Where are you? All right, my lovelies. I was struggling there. I couldn't actually get her positioned correctly on the moss pole. But let me turn her around so you can see what I did. So I opted for my good old-fashioned butterfly clips. I had a couple that were still big. You can see how, well, maybe you can't. If I come down, you see how the soil line meets the soil line of the moss pole? And the roots are within there. And I've taken some of my soil mix and I'm mixing it with what she had. And this is also, she can acclimate. I mean, I've pushed the roots, you know, because obviously we tore apart, separated two plants. And now we're putting her on a moss pole. That's a lot to deal with in one day. So I'm going to turn her around to face me for a moment so I can see what I've got going on. And typically where I pack is in the back so that I can have the stability of the moss pole, but in the front, and she looks crooked. There she is. But in the front, I try not to pack it down. As a matter of fact, we can take some of that out. I don't like how high that is. All right. I think I am satisfied with the way this looks. She will be going to the kitchen to get watered and then placed back where she was. She was always over here with the rest of the plants. She was just on the floor. So now she's part of the moss pole group. All right. Wait a minute. Why are you leaning? I don't need you leaning. I have a cover pot down there that'll be perfect for her to, until she settles into this. Is she still leaning? It is. Are you? Now you're leaning backwards. Okay, that looks good to me. She'll settle down when she gets watered. All right, so done with that one. And I guess the last thing we'll do is just plant up this little plantlet. She's super tiny. Well, not super. I don't like those. Those are dirty. This will be good. Go ahead and get rid of this. And I don't like when it has sheets on it. There's actually 2 plants here. This will be going into my prop box as well. And we'll see what she does. And that looks good. So some of the soil she was already in mixed. And you know, I noticed that soil seemed like it had some sand and it was mostly perlite. Had no bark, nothing well draining. I think that could have, or I think, don't quote me on this, I think that could potentially be part of the reason why I was getting the yellow leaves. I don't think the soil was draining quick enough. I could be wrong though. Alrighty. We shall see what this little baby does if it decides it wants to be its own individual little plant. Okay, so I think we'll stop there. I do have one more plant that I want to do, unless the cameraman says we can keep going. He's making faces, y'all. He don't want to be bothered with me today. We're going to go ahead and do this last one. This one will be a quick one. This one actually was in the kitchen and it fell. And it's starting to yellow. So I don't want to mess with its roots too much. Maybe not at all. Just try to break some of that up. But she's going to go back right into the same pot she was in because there's not much to her. As a matter of fact, I don't even see roots. Maybe a few. Let's see. About the same. Don't want her to sit that low. All right, that one was easy peasy. I'm gonna clean her up, cut some of these yellow leaves off, give her some water, and we're good to go. Okay, guys, we did a whole lot today. We did a whole lot of propagations. You saw me chop up my Plowmanii. You saw me put the varicosum on the pole. I will keep you posted on the progress of all of these plants. Let me know what you did today. He making faces back there. I'm sorry. Guys, thank you for spending time with me. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and comment. Talk to you real soon. Bye.